Hey, welcome or welcome back to 4F Beauty. When will I be YouTube famous? What I do know is that I had a request from a mate of mine, Rachel, to do a tutorial using loose pigments. So, as I haven't filmed with this here a Blush Tribe pigment yet, I thought it was the ideal opportunity. So, if you also would like to know how to use loose pigments, or just want to see how I achieved this eye look, you are in exactly the right place. Don't go anywhere. Here it comes. Hey, welcome back from the intro. Apparently my voice doesn't want to be here with me today, that's nice. I had a request to do a tutorial using loose pigments. So I've got this gorgeous one here from Blush Tribe, which goes from green to purple. And I've been looking for a reason to do a tutorial with it. But I thought I'd show you a little bit of an update to my skincare, because obviously when I use loose pigments I do my eyes first rather than my base, which you know I don't normally do. But I grabbed some of this Revolution 10% niacinamide and 1% zinc blemish and pore refining serum. Helps soothe and calm dry skin, which I don't have. But it does help reduce the looks of blemishes and pores, which, yeah, I have those. So as you can see, I was shaking this bottle. It's a pipette at the top, so you unscrew it, squeeze the pipette to get the serum into the pipette, and as you can see this serum's clear. And I literally use, let's see if I can zoom you in a little bit just for this bit. I literally use 3 drops. Okay, and then just rub it between my fingers, pat it over my face, before rubbing it all in. Now I've already, obviously I've already washed my face, I wouldn't be putting this on if I hadn't, but I have already used my day cream from Olay. Most people put serums on first. I actually find my skin takes them better if I put them on afterwards. That's just a personal thing with me, it's just the way my skin works and the way that my skin likes to take serums in. And the other serum that I'm going to be using today is my ordinary caffeine solution. Again, give it a shake. You have to be careful with this one because you can get, as you can see, look, crusties around the things. That does need cleaning. I normally wipe that off every week, to be honest. This, as you can see, is more of a golden liquid rather than clear. And for this, I just use 2 drops and just pat that on my eyes and going out to my fine lines at the side, and where I've started to get these vertical ones here, I've started to use them. I do find that the caffeine, I've not really noticed a huge amount of difference in terms of lightening my dark circles up, but it does help reduce puffiness, which obviously, side effect of meds, is one of the things that I suffer with, and I do find that caffeine solution really helps. Now what I would normally do is go and have a cup of coffee, let this sink in before I start putting foundation on. However, I'm going straight to eyes this time. So, I'm going to start off with my Revolution Conceal and Define in 0.5, which is, I think they do a white one which is lighter than this. But I like using this one because you can see where I've got such deep set eyes, I do have quite dark eyelids, and it can affect how colours look on my eyes. I've got a damp beauty blender here. It's not a beauty blender, it's a Beauty Bakery blending egg. I'm just going to gently pat that out across my lid. And you can see that brightens it up considerably for me. I don't need to use eyeshadow primers because I don't really find that they do a lot for me, to be honest. They don't seem to last any longer than this concealer does, so I don't see the point in spending out on something else if concealer's going to work for me. I'm just going to set that with some Coty Airspun. Just gently buff that over there. Love the smell of this. You either love it or you hate it, the smell of this. And because it's so finely milled and it does fly everywhere, you are going to inhale some of it. So if you don't like the smell, don't get this. Right. I should do the rest of my under eyes and everything once I've done my main part here. Now, which shadow shades? I think I'm going to go in with the Slush palette from September Rose. This is back in stock now and shipping. And you can save 10% with my code BOMBER, all in caps, which is in the description box, and I'll probably stick it up on the screen somewhere. It's non-affiliated, I don't earn from it, but you get 10% off, so yay. Yay for savings and supporting UK indie companies. Right, let's get you zoomed in a little bit so you can actually see what I'm doing. Oh, that's a little bit too close, isn't it? There we go, how's that? That's a little bit better. Right, I'm going to start off with my Spectrum B06 as always. And blue, purples and greens, purples and greens, purples and greens. I think, as I've not done much with the green row here, I think I might go into the greens because I've done a look with the purples. So I'm going to start off with Banana, which is actually a yellow. And I'm going to gently run that windscreen wipering through my crease. Now, when I look straight ahead, you can see all of my mobile lid and you can see where I've laid that down, you can actually see the colour. If when you have your eyes open you don't see all of your lid, then you've either got a half or a full hooded lid. You can still follow my tutorials. All you need to do is get a smaller, maybe quite not this small, get a smaller brush, pick the crease colour up, and when your eyes are open, just really carefully just mark out where your crease needs to be. Okay? And then you can just follow on the tutorial like everybody else. You will of course find this reduces the amount of space between your crease and your brow. So try lifting your brows when you're applying the colour, and if you still have very restricted space here, maybe start off with a smaller brush, but it still needs to be quite loose so we can blend it out. Okay? So, having done windscreen wipers, I'm not adding any more colour onto the brush, but I'm twirly whirling, and as I come back I'm reversing the direction of the brush and lifting it up slightly each time so you can see the amount of pigment in these shadows. Now I normally take it to about sort of 4 or 5 mils below the lowest part of my brow. And then once I've got it to there, I revert to little tiny windscreen wipers just to make sure that everything is really nicely buffed out and that there's no gaps where the skin on my eyelid has moved and hasn't got any pigment on it. So, back into that banana shade, and we'll repeat it on this eye. You can see initially it goes on very vibrant. If you want to keep it that vibrant, don't blend it out, basically. So if you're using it on the lid, just use a packer brush and it will stay that vibrant. Obviously, as you blend it out, you're blending the pigment up, so it does reduce the vibrancy just a little bit. You can, of course, build that up if you want to, but obviously I'm using this as my transition shade, so I'm going to be sticking some greens over the top anyway. How's your day been so far? Has it been good? I hope so. That looks good. I like this. I love a good strong yellow, and this is most definitely a good strong yellow. Right, cleaning my brush off on my colour switch. As you can see, that's where I tapped off. So clean the excess off. And I'm going to go into Lemon and Lime, which is beautiful green. And I'm going to repeat what I did initially, running it through the crease. But this time I'm going to pick up a little bit more pigment to blend it up the eye. But I'm only blending it along the crease. I'm not taking it too far up my eye at all, because I want to still be able to see the yellow underneath. Okay. So you can see the difference there that that's given. And again, just very gentle buffing backwards and forwards, just to make sure we've got a nice seamless blend. And just buff over where the two colours meet, so you've got a nice... Yeah, I like that. And then we do the same on this eye. I don't speed my tutorials up because I found it difficult when I was first starting, that tutorials would be sped up and I'd be trying to keep up and I'd have to keep pausing it. And I watch tutorials on my phone, which I'm pretty sure most of us do nowadays, rather than dragging laptops and tablets out all the time. And it really frustrated me that I had to keep pausing it, and then my screen lock would come on, and they'd say, right, I'm going to do the other eye off camera, and you're like, wait, so I've now got to pause this, rewind it, and try and do the whole thing in reverse, in like mirror image. So if you're quicker at blending than me, you can always put me on at 2 speed or whatever. I think there's a widget down that corner where you can actually change the speed. So you can see that's really given a nice depth. That was my fridge defrosting. Right, I'm now going to pick up my Balm Crease Love and Happiness brush, which is, if you compare it, it's still very loosely packed, but it's a lot more tapered than the brush we've just used. So that's at one end, and at the other end I've got a thicker packer style brush. So I'm going to go into Cucumber Lime, and I'm just going to pop that on the outside corner here. And then again, run it through the crease, or wherever your crease is. And I'm going to tilt my head back this side, because I'm just going to blend on the crease. I'm not taking it up my eye at all. I just want to focus this on the crease itself. And then gently buffing the corner there just to blend that out. And then of course we repeat it on the other eye. I know a lot of people either are unsure or have never used loose pigments before. The first loose pigment I tried was actually from Omo Glitter, and it was a gold pigment, which was Lush. And I played around with that quite a bit, and then this Blush Tribe pigment is the other loose pigment that I have at the moment. If you're wondering why I closed this eye but tilted my head back for the other one, it's because I'm blind in this eye. So closing this eye means not a lot of makeup happens. And you can see this is why I didn't really tap the brush off very well, because I knew I didn't have to, because I could clean up with a face wipe, because I hadn't got my base done yet. I always do this with loose pigments because I'm still, as I said, quite new myself to using them. I do sometimes still end up with fallout on them. So let's just tidy this up a little bit, because it will annoy me otherwise while I'm doing the... I always get more fallout on this side because this eyelid moves more. This is the eye that was pulled around an awful lot when I was a child because of being blind in it and all the different visits to the ophthalmic and everything, the ophthalmic hospital. And it got pulled around an awful lot more. So the skin on that, unfortunately, moves around an awful lot more. Right, I'm now going to go in. This is a So Eco brush, and it's a thinner packer brush. Okay, and I'm also going to use, where's my little spectrum? Okay. I'm also going to use my Spectrum A16 just to get into the corner, which you can see is a dinky little packer brush. Okay. And I use this Obsession Pigment Boost to wet my brush. You can use anything. You can use Fix Plus, you can use your setting spray, you can use clean water. It's just something. I like using this because I do find that it does work really well with the loose pigments. So, going into this beautiful Blush Tribe, which as you can see goes from green to purple. Absolutely stunning. So, I'm just going to open this pot up just to show you the pigment in there, look. Okay. Now, I'm going to start off with my Spectrum brush, which I'm going to spray both sides, and I'm going to dip this into the pigment and just tap off slightly back in, and you can see that really picks the pigment up. Okay, so I'm just going to start off by applying this into the inner corner. These pigments are so highly pigmented, you really don't need to do a cut crease, you don't need to put concealer or primer down because they are strong enough. They will cover any shadow that's on the lid already. Now I'm going to do the same with my bigger brush. I would tell you what So Eco brush this is, but the name has rubbed off the handle when I've been cleaning it, so yeah, I have absolutely no idea, sorry. And again, just dipping this, sorry you can't see what I'm doing, can you, dipping this into here and then tapping any excess back in. And I'm going to use this to do the rest of my lid. And I think I'm only going to go 2/3 the way along because I quite like that look rather than going filling the whole lid. Okay, I've actually managed to do it without too much fallout this side. Let's see if I can do that the other side on my more manoeuvrable lid. So I'm going to re-wet my brush. Got my little Diddy Spectrum one again. You can see there is still some pigment on here, but obviously I want to pick up a little bit more. And again, tap back off well. And this eye I do have to stretch out to get into the corner because, as I was saying, it did get pulled around an awful lot as a child. And if I don't do this, I'll end up with creases and it will be so obvious with this pigment. And you can see that this applies beautifully. And the this pigment boost that I'm using, or if you're using a setting spray or Fix Plus or whatever, it holds it on the lid lovely. I mean, really, a loose pigment is not really that much different to a pressed shadow. Pressed shadows do have other ingredients in them so that they stay together when they're pressed, and that can help them stay on the lid, which is why, for example, the Blush Tribe shimmers I can use without a wet brush. But loose pigments you do need a wet brush. Hopefully, as I'm sort of doing that, you can see the two-tone effect of the purple and the green. Okay, so it is honestly that simple. Right, I need to go and put some foundation on now before I can do my bottom lash line. So I'm going to do that and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hey, as you can see, I have foundationed and I have concealered. Now, this is a Travel Real Techniques Slanted Kabuki, and I love using this for putting powder on my nose. I'm actually using Coty Airspun, tapping off well, because anybody who's used this knows it's so finely milled, it flies everywhere. But what I like about this being the travel one is you can lift the collar up and tighten the density of the bristles, and I like that just for pressing the Coty into my nose, just to try and, because obviously I'm oily combo, and kind of this sort of triangle of nose, top lip and chin are generally where I struggle the most to keep foundations on. So I like to use a little bit of a denser brush just in those areas to push the powder in, just to give it as good a chance as possible of lasting. And then I go in with my big fluffy brush and again tap off and just set the rest of my face. I love this Coty Airspun. I actually got my first tub of it because you can't actually get it in the UK very easily, unfortunately. You can get it from Amazon, but there's a lot of dubious sellers on there. If you're buying it from Amazon, choose Amazon Prime delivery, even if you're not a Prime member, because Amazon Prime means it's dispatched by Amazon. and I'm pretty sure that the sellers have to prove authenticity of product before Amazon will ship it out. So that's my best advice if you're buying it from Amazon. But I actually got this first one. A friend of mine had gone to the States and bought a tub of it because everyone raved about it so much, and then discovered she hated the smell. So I bought it off of her and I absolutely love it. I've used a lot of different setting powders, including Laura Mercier, and the Coty to me is as close to Laura Mercier as I have found in terms of drugstore or cheaper powders. It's super finely milled. On no makeup days, I do concealer on my under eyes and any breakouts, and then Coty Airspun over my face, and that's me done. And you know, people say to me, "Oh my god, what foundation have you got on?" And I'm like, I haven't. I've got concealer and powder, and they're like, "Ooh." So yeah. The bronzer that I'm going to use today is a Physicians Formula, which I bought off someone on Depop because again, you can't get this easily in the UK. This is apparently the Sexy Booster Bronzer. No idea why it's meant to be sexy, apart from the fact it's got a thingy in it. So, but this is the only glowy bronzer that I've got. All my other bronzers are matte, and I just felt like adding a little bit of shine today because I finally managed to get a hold of the Oprah Nikki Tutorials Glazed Donut highlighter, and oh boy, does that glow. So I thought I'd do a glowy bronzer as well, just to match in really. And obviously I do my jawline here, partly to emphasise where the jaw is, and also to help minimise that wonderful double chinage that we get as we get older. Right, I'm going to use my L'Oreal Life's a Peach blush. This is in shade Peach Addict in it's shade number 1. You can see I've gone Addict because the actual imprinting is starting to fade, but the peach smell has not. The Physicians Formula one, by the way, it smells like cupcake frosting. I do actually have a Physicians Formula blush. This is a glowy blush, which I actually use this. This is in shade Natural Glow. I actually use this. This one smells like coconut, which is lush. But if I want a day where I want a much more natural highlight, so school, college, job, job interview, where you don't necessarily want my usual Tin Man aesthetic, where I glow as much as possible, then I tend to use that Physicians Formula blush just as a really soft, gentle highlight. Right, going back in with my slush palette and picking up my Balm Crease Love and Happiness brush and going in with the thicker packer end. I'm going to dip into Sour Apple, which is a shade I've not used yet. Oh, I need to zoom you in because I'd zoomed out for the face, hadn't I? There we go. Lovely. Right, going in with the Sour Apple. I'm just going to gently buff that under those lower lashes, and you can see it's almost a perfect match for the green pigment. That's why I didn't use it on the upper lid, because I knew how similar it was to the pigment that I was using. So this then ties in sort of the upper lid with the lower lid. I am still going to smoke this out with a different one of the greens as well. I'm going to go into Cucumber Lime and really gently just buff that along that lower lash line, just to soften the sour apple that we've put down and to give a slightly more blown out look. And yes, I just poked myself in the eye with the brush. Bad things happen to good people. Just hope my eye doesn't start watering like mad now. So if it does, I will not be very happy having just done this look. Okay, it's time to highlight. So, this is an Eco Tools Detailer brush, and this is the Ofra Nikki Tutorials Glazed Donut Highlighter. It's the first Ofra highlight I've ever owned, and to say that it's bright is a bit of an understatement. I'd even go so far as to say this is actually brighter than the Jeffree Star Ice Cold, which, I'll be honest, I didn't think was possible. Oh, I haven't done my brows. Let's just quickly... It's because I'm doing things in a different order. I normally do my brows before I start my eyes, but obviously I didn't do that today because I didn't want to do my brows and then get foundation on them. So, but this does give you a quick indication of how quickly I do my brows, though, I suppose. This is the L'Oreal Brow Artist Expert in, I believe I've got Cool Brunette. Pretty sure this is Cool Brunette. Doesn't say on the thing, that's helpful. But I like this, it's the closest that I've found to the Benefit little brow pencil that I got a sample of that I really liked. So, and it's lasted me quite a while actually. This is the end of the first one, and I've been using it pretty much daily since I got it. I have got 2 backups of it, because what normally happens is I find a product I like and then they discontinue it. So I have got 2 backups of this just in case. So you can see that's pretty much all I do with my brows. Then get a little bit of brow gel. This one's the Barry M Take a Brow, and I like it because it's got a nice short stubby brush, so you can kind of brush your front hairs up and then smooth the rest across. This doesn't leave your brows, the Ready Set Brow that I adore from Benefit but just can't afford to keep buying, leaves your brows a little bit crunchy, like when you've put hairspray on a spoolie. This is a lot softer feeling, in case you were wondering. Right, we'll pop a little bit of highlight under the tail end of our brow here, because having a high brow is apparently a sign of youth. Apparently these start drooping along with everything else, folks. Isn't that lovely? Right, let's zoom you back out again. Yep. And I'm going to go in with, she said, trying to. I've got a brush roll thing here that I've got all my brushes in. I'm going to go in with a small fan brush, and I'm just going to show you how blinding this highlight is. Do you see that? How beautiful is that? I mean, it's just. There might be lots of rumours about her charging for negative reviews and stuff at the moment, allegedly. But the girl sure knows what to do when it comes to highlights. And it seems that Ofra know what they're doing as well, because that is just absolutely stunning. And as you can see, I'm definitely keeping to my Tin Man aesthetic. As John McClane says, I don't glow to the gods, I glow so brightly the gods can't see what I'm up to. Right, I'm going to pause you and do my liner and mascara, do something with my hair, bung a lippy on, and I'll be straight back. Don't go anywhere. Hey, well, there you go, all finished. I used a MAC lippy. It's one of the Nicki Minaj ones in shade Nicki's Nude, because I didn't want to detract from this gorgeous eye look. If you're wondering, on the liner I use the Revolution Renaissance Flicks. This is by far turning into my favourite liner. And lashes are Barry M, that's how I roll, waterproof. Setting spray of the day is the Rimmel hashtag Instafix and Go, which is the closest I have found to Urban Decay All Nighter in terms of keeping your makeup exactly where you want it to be. So, there you go, Rachel. There is your tutorial on using loose pigments. I hope you and everybody else watching this found this helpful. If you did, it would be awesome if you could hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe. When you subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell, and when you hit the bell, make sure you choose all notifications, not just some, and then you'll get told every time I upload another one of these films. I'm talking of another one of these films. You know I've got lots to choose from. If you've got a little bit of spare time, why not pop over and watch one? You never know what you're going to find on this channel. Alright, all that remains for me to say is you'll stay fabulous, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.